fucking live.
We're live? Fuck yeah.
We are. Welcome to the Tait Talks podcast, ladies and gentlemen. I am the host, Tait Middleton. This is episode 33. Today I've got the young Will O'Regan on. Welcome to the show, mate.
How's it going? Fuck yeah. I've been excited to get me on. I've been trying to get on for a while.
To me for a while.
Fucking, I've been looking to get it on a podcast, can't I? mean, fucking.
And now you're on. And
now I'm floating.
Will, you're a young man of 23 years old.
Yes. That's my age.
That's a lot younger than me.
Well, how old are you?
I'm 31, mate.
31,
yeah.
fuck.
So it seems kind of like you're my son.
Yeah, I'm like it. No, you're like my big brother.
Yeah. What we're going to chat about today is just random shit. I met you obviously through comedy.
Yeah. I saw you do. I saw you kill it raw, and I was like, "Fuck, I want to be that guy's mate." Eh?
Yeah, I want to be that guy's. I
want to get on his podcast, man. If he's got one, that's what I wanted.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, I suppose you saw me at Raw.
You fucking crushed it.
Yeah,
loved it. I was like, "Fuck yeah."
That would have been Heat 1, I reckon.
Heat 1. I went there. I got a new fucking mullet.
Yes.
And I was like showing the comics. I was like, "Oh, check me!" And then everyone's like, "Oh, we got the mullet." And then everyone's like, getting around me. And then I saw you, and I was like, I never saw you do it, so I was like, I know Shaz and shit was gonna kill.
Yeah.
And then I saw you, and I was like, oh, fuck, who's this guy? Fucking, he does alright.
Yeah, I had a good gig, which was nice. But I've seen you a couple of times. I'd seen you a couple of times actually previously.
Did you? Fuck, I didn't know.
Frio, and I reckon maybe at the Bayswater gig, maybe
or Bayswater.
Which is always interesting.
Yeah, I know. A lot of tradies there.
Today we're going to chat. I just found out you had a podcast. Well, I suppose you do have a podcast still.
Yeah.
It's just since you started doing stand-up.
Haven't posted.
Yeah.
Haven't posted in 3 years.
Yeah, 3 years. So, but you started doing a podcast before me. I suppose podcasts have got a lot bigger in the last 2-3 years type thing. So you were kind of ahead of the game a little bit.
I stopped and everyone's caught up, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Issue once everyone else jumps on it. But what made you get into You just
did the podcast?
Man?
I was just like, I think Bill Burr's one. You listen to that one?
Yeah.
And I thought, that's why, I don't know, it seemed like a fun time. I got a few of my mates on.
Yeah.
And we were just chatting shit and sort of thing.
And you were young, weren't you?
Yeah. I was like, I don't know, 18, 19, something like that. And like...
just chatting absolute shit?
Yeah, no substance. Yeah. If 18, 19, you ever heard him speak, it's like...
Were you nervous of or like aware of like this is going out into the stratosphere and if we say something fucked, it could hurt us?
No, I was pretty fucking naive. I'm like... like now I'm like, if I had like a mate on and he's like...
saying stories about drugs or whatever it may be.
Not even like drugs, but just fucking like
punching women. Yeah.
Offensive shit.
Yeah.
Like, have to make sure you watch your language and shit.
Yeah.
But like a mate would come and start saying, I'm like, oh man, you can't say that, bro. And he'd be like, why the fuck not, man? Like he'll get held defensive, and then be like, and then put it back on me. He's like, well, if you want to say, I'm not going to say. I'm going to fucking say it. I'm like, don't be a fucking prick, bro. Like, I'm inviting you on the podcast.
Yeah, it's weird when you tell people like on this podcast. Pretty much everyone's vetted, so I know exactly what we're going to be chatting about, sort of.
Yeah.
But you never know. People can be loose and whatnot. But it's sort of, I just have the mentality of like, you can say whatever the fuck you want to say, but it's on you.
Yeah.
And then I am open to editing, which I've done a few times. I try not to do it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, you want to say weird and wacky shit, like die on your sword sort of thing.
Yeah, sort of. Well, unless it's sometimes a bit fucked and
Well, I haven't had anyone be like racist or sexist or anything. Or if they were, it was
there was like a couple of times that they were saying sort of thing, and then I'm like, man, you gotta pull it back, bro.
Yeah. I want to have a future.
I was like, man, I'm gonna be fucking cancelled if you keep going like this.
Yep. So you guys just chatted shit pretty much with your mates.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to think of some of the topics we used to say. It was nothing like informative.
So it was just more of an open
it was
thing?
I don't know. It was like
it's whatever came out.
Oh, what's your favorite movie? Sort of. It was like nothing really good. And then sometimes it would ask you about what was it? One time someone one mate's just randomly was like, "Oh, when did you have your first wank?" or something like that.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And like asking details about that, I'm like, "Fuck, this is a bit weird," sort of thing. Asking details about me when I was like 13, I had my first wank.
It's child porn, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, "Fucking hell, bro."
Do you know the funny thing is? On Tuesday, that came up when we were literally a group of like 28 to like young 30s just chatting about that after the gig.
Yeah.
We were like,
I could see
just
that,
chatting
yeah.
absolute shit.
I
And it
could
was
see
just
just-
like, we're still children.
Just
We
like,
are still,
don't give a fucking
yeah.
more.
I think you just do a whole revert. Like it goes from like, you talk about that shit to, oh no, we're not talking about that shit, to we've got nothing else to talk about. And we're back to that.
Oh, I was at Freo on Thursday. I was talking to a few comics, and I was trying to get this this joke about like protein people, and I was like trying to like say like instead of like cows, we should farm like fucking protein bros and shit like that.
Okay.
And like I was trying to figure out the word for you know those those rabbit little fucking drink things that they like put in their mouths and they suck on, and it's like water dispenser sort of thing. I was trying to figure like what's that called? Like is it just called like a water dispenser?
Yeah,
like, I don't know, because I was looking up and I was like, oh fuck, and then like one of the comments I was like, fuck, you better not say like a hell obscure like name for it, and no one's got no idea what you're talking about.
That is an issue, actually. You try and say a word and people are like, I don't even know if that's a real
What's this guy
one.
talking about, man?
Yeah. And it just wrecks it. But so you went from your podcast, so just chatting shit with your mates.
Yeah.
So obviously around the 18 mark.
Yeah.
Had you always wanted to try stand-up? Because about a year later you had done, your first gig was Raw.
Yeah.
You were saying.
Raw, and then I think for the first 1.5 minutes I was killing it.
Yeah. So you were young. You were 19 when you started. 23 now.
Yeah. A few years now.
Yeah. Do you gig regularly?
Oh, now? Yeah. I try to do every week.
Yeah.
Just because I feel like you gotta be working muscle sort of thing.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and like I feel like comedy is so much like delivery, and so you have to. If you don't do it for a while, your delivery goes to shit, doesn't it? Don't you reckon?
Well, I think it's the confidence on stage.
Yeah.
So you're like, it's weird that people in the audience don't know what you're trying to achieve, but at the same time they kind of do.
Yeah.
So
like, there's a little bit of rhythm to it as well.
Yeah.
You sort of thing, and there's so much.
It's match fitness, same as footy.
Yeah,
you play footy, so it's fucking.
It is
like
match
we
fitness.
didn't. If I didn't do a pre-season, and then you played round one, and you're like,
I've done that before.
Yeah.
I mean, like, they talk about the 2 km charge run on the beep test.
Yep.
And I'm like, I tell the boys, like, tell me when those dates are, so I make sure I don't come. Well, one time, I was doing footy, and like, it was pre-season, and it was then there were 800 meter intervals of like you had to do like basically 90%. So basically you're sprinting for a minute, and then you rest, and then you had to do it like 16 times in a row. And I was like, I couldn't feel my legs for a whole week, and but yeah, so the comedy is sort of like
it is. You gotta like, well, you gotta hone everything. Fucking, if you want to put it back into footy, you're like, you got to learn how to sprint, and if you want to do those big like long stories on stage and stuff like that, but still keep the audience's attention.
Like imagine like not doing stand-up for a year and then doing a fringe show.
Yeah,
you'd be fucked.
Yeah, you would be absolutely like one of the fellas. I won't say his name, but on Tuesday, I haven't even met him. I was just doing the recording at the show.
Yeah.
He hadn't done any stand-up. He said it was his first gig in 18 months.
Whoa.
But he must have done a bit before that because he was still comfortable on stage.
Still good.
But you could tell that like
a bit rusty.
Just a little bit, just a little like maybe the mic wasn't secure in his hand, or like, just tiny little idiosyncrasies that you want to.
No, I don't do stand-up for 2 weeks. I'm like, fucking go to shit. Yeah. I'm like, I go terrible. So I got to keep doing it.
Yeah, I think that's
me.
very much a fucking just a match fitness game. Like everyone you talk to is half decent. You're like, how long you been doing it for? And they're like, oh, like 7 to 10 years.
Yeah,
and
I know.
Oh, okay, yeah. And that's like the same people who have played footy and who are decent at football have been doing Oz kick, and now they're playing seniors and shit. And you're like, it's just building like
I know.
3% every year.
And you get people to start Oz kick and they're still shit. You're like, man, just stop, bro.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in comedy
like
that.
Can't like fucking stop.
And then there's a lot of people, like not a lot, the rare people that start footy late or comedy late, and they just have it.
And they're
and like
those people are so
perfect.
I hate them people.
Perfect
so much.
person is like Blake.
Did he? Because how many gigs before he did Raw?
I thought he had done like 4 or 5, and he ended up being the runner-up of the state final.
So he only did 4 or 5, and he And
something like that. Yeah, I think he had only.
But he's also had the acting experience on stage.
Yeah, but I know a lot. Like, I lived in Vancouver and I met a fuck ton of actors. And their comedy was still fucking shit.
Was it the writing or was it just
but like it's just they're just two different fields.
Yeah.
Even though that they do work out quite well, and good comedians are usually good actors.
Yeah.
But it doesn't translate as much. You know, I'm a great actor means I'm going to be a great comic.
I say there's a lot of comedians who are fucking horrific actors and shit.
Yeah, probably both. But probably
and then you
the
get
good comic could probably.
Then you get like Robin Williams, who's like,
just
Oscar worthy.
Yeah, it's fucked. So you must have been told by your buddies or had a fair idea that you're a funny dude.
Well, a little bit. I don't know. I saw maybe it was just me like thinking
I'm fucking hilarious.
Yeah, I'm thinking fuck yeah, I can do this. But mostly while I watched all the Netflix sort of comedy, and then I thought about, and then I wrote sorry, that's right. It's not really the right piece of language.
Sure, mate. We'll get into what you're studying now, and people be like, wow, this guy's actually super duper smart. Yeah.
Yeah, fuck. But yeah, so I wrote like 5 minutes. I was like, oh. But then, honestly, I told, this was like the year before. And like, I told my sister, because I wrote like 5 minutes. And I said I was going to do the Gong Show.
Oh, jeez.
And that was going to be my first time. So imagine if I did that my first time.
That's just a fucking...
I think back, I'm like, fuck, man, I had some balls, eh?
It is crazy. Yeah, that young too. Like, even...
I had some balls.
I was 20... I was 23 when I started. I was turning, so I was 23 and a half. My first gig was at Raw as well.
Yeah.
And even that was horrifying. And I was older, you know, like I still had, like, I had a full-time job. I'd been fucking an adult for a fair while. I had done some traveling around the world and had probably a bit better, like, stories and this and that and blah, blah, blah. And then even that was absolutely fucking horrifying. But I went quite well, which was good. But it was like 280 something in the audience.
Yeah.
It was like at a small
theatre. Was this in Melbourne?
It was in Geelong.
Geelong.
Yeah, so close to the home of the Catters. But yeah, it was fucking... It's crazy. It's crazy to think that we even do it because...
Yeah, I sometimes think, like, what the fuck do I do this for?
Yeah, and then people like chat to you and you're like, oh yeah, it's cool. But they give you absolutely nothing and you're like, oh, I don't think you realise how fucking hard this shit is. Like,
I know.
Yeah, sometimes I just chat to people. I'm like, they'll be chatting about something, blah, 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 and I'm like, oh, what do you do for fun? I'm like, oh, I do a little bit of stand-up, and they're like, oh, yeah, cool. Anyway, so, like, yeah, back to this, and you're like, man, I just told you.
Do not care.
But that's the thing. Maybe they know someone who does stand-up, and
yeah.
they're just like, it's just one of those things. That
maybe
like, people do it.
Maybe they just think you're shit, and they're like, fuck.
Maybe, yeah, probably.
And it's like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, probably.
This guy's probably got a lot of issues doing stand-up. Like, fucking hell, go to therapy, bro.
Yeah, that's pretty much fucking it, to be honest. Like, as you're saying before about the fucking talking about dicks after the show, the stories and the shit people talk about after stand-up is the part where there should be a camera on.
That's the funny part.
Yeah, that's where
the best part, man.
And
that's
people are fucking ruthless.
I know.
Yeah,
some of the stories I've heard after the boys after Freo.
Yeah,
and I'm like, fuck, man, this can never go out, please.
Yeah,
this can never. This stuff information. It's like, oh, this please never go out because these cunts are fucked.
It's usually people trial it with like
other
and they're like, hey, do you reckon this has legs? And you're like, yeah, it does, but you can never fucking say that out loud.
Yeah, because you're fucked. You're like, you figure this fucked up shit.
It's just fucking, it's funny. So you had your first gig at Raw. You went. You said you did okay for the first minute and a half. 90 seconds, solid.
I was doing killing it, and then I think I started talking about pushing over grandmas and sort of crazy shit. And like, I think actually, honestly, to be fair, I rehearsed that material for like 4 days straight. Mm-hmm. So I had it down packed. So I think I actually presented it okay, sort of thing. But I think it was just too fucked up.
Yeah.
And they were a bit like, they saw me like, and I was like a baby face, like 19, even more so now. Well,
you do look young.
I was like a real baby face. Like I look probably 16, and I was talking about pushing over grandma. So they'll probably
like this
guy's
boy is fucked.
This little horny boy.
Start of a psycho.
Yeah, I think that's what they thought. That's what my brother said. He said, I think people thought you were just fucked up. I was like, no, I was just, just doing some jokes. Like,
it's a hard thing. Like, and it shows how good the professional comics like Bill Burr and stuff like that,
who do that,
the subject matter, and they get huge laughs, and you're like,
just
because they've done it so well.
Yeah, the confidence, stage presence, you definitely get away with, and also it's the audience. To be fair,
yeah, there is at that point it is their crowd, definitely 100%. So it is
100%.
But they did get there, you know, man. They pushed the envelope to get there type of thing.
That's why the openers never do as well as the headliner.
Oh yeah, it's hard as fuck when you're like, I've had a couple of times, probably more over in WA, that there's been a pro in front of me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, now I'm fucked.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm not a fucking pro. And then someone just like, and then I think I just shrink a bit because I'm like, well, I know what this cunt's capable of. And then they go out there and they do crush, and I'm like, ooh.
Yeah.
And different styles too. If you got someone who's quite loud and fucking like go, 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 and then I am quite slow paced and stuff like that, you're just like, ooh, this isn't a good...
Completely different,
yeah. They're up and about for this.
It's good for low crowds though, because like it's a bit different.
Oh, it's great for the crowd. Yeah. Variety.
If everyone was the same, it would be fucking... It'd be shit.
Well, sometimes you get that because, as you were saying the other night, like when you did a gig that everyone was talking about sex, which is really common in open mic stuff. Yeah. And I fucking do it. Like it's just fucking, you know, I'm not having it, so I'm talking about it. But yeah, it's just that
it's always funny. It was
low hanging fruit, and everyone can, relate for the most part, relate. Yeah, you know, for the most.
Unless you did Christian college or something like that, they might not relate. They might be like, oh.
So you went from that Raw gig, then you went like obviously you're still a young fucking buck. Had you started uni?
Yeah. I was I started uni. I was like doing uni when I was like 17 or something like that. My first semester.
Jesus. Yeah. Started everything.
No, it wasn't really like, it wasn't because I was smart. I was just young. I was just born in March and uni started February. It wasn't like a big thing. Okay, yeah. But so I already did basically 2 years at uni.
Yeah.
Because I did the second year because I was doing I was doing by biomed. But like and then I was like started the podcast. I was like, oh, maybe I'll do some filming because I wanted to do like sketch comedy sort of thing. I'm not sure. I still don't know why I did all this, but like it's like I don't know, some random epiphany one day. I was fucking because I think I grew up watching like Shooter Williams sort of thing. You know, like for, all the teenage sort of years. Yeah. And I thought that guy's a fucking genius.
So he would have got quite big when you were in your formative years.
Yeah, high school.
I saw him live in Edinburgh and I was quite surprised of the caliber of his stand-up. And he was doing like playing the guitar and shit. Like,
was he?
Yeah, and there was like 300 people in the audience. It was a sold-out show. And I was like, holy shit, I didn't really like... I was a bit older, I guess. So when I was seeing his stuff on like fucking... these clips and shit, I was like, yeah, it's funny, but it's not laugh out loud funny for me. Yeah. But then watching his stand up, I was like, holy shit, like fucking this guy's actually talented.
Well, I saw him. I think he got like second in Raw in Adelaide, back in the day or something like that. And I watched some of his stand up, and his stand up's like, you think of him like saying the word cunt like 24, but he's actually fucking really like clever the way he works in jokes and stuff like that.
And he's actually, if you watch his stuff now, his opinions and watching, like, I'm trying to think of the right word. Jerry Seinfeld's renowned for it. Observational humor is like he's really like the little, as going back, like idiosyncrasies, and you're like, oh, that's why that's funny. And he points it like right to that little specific thing. It's like, you know, when they're doing this, and you're like, fuck.
One of the funniest videos I think of his was like the party one, where he's talking about the afters of a party. You know how like every bloke's like talking about, there was fucking like police there, and we had like 2 cartons and stuff like drugs and shit, and he's like talking about a kindergarten birthday party the same way. So he's like, yeah, man, like I stole a beer out of my uncle, but at the end of the night it was gone. Like all this, like just how like fucking like talking up like a kindergarten bunny. He's like talking about how like the year 6s came over. We started like the fucking gate crashes and shit. I thought like, fuck, man, that's fucking genius.
Yeah, and those little spins on certain things work so well. So you've done, you're at uni, like in this when you started Raw. Did that have any influences on your jokes or anything, or were you just kind of just watching comics and you're like, this is subject matter that I'll trying.
I never did any chemistry jokes because that's what he's
Yeah.
trying to do.
So, yeah, we actually haven't talked about. Like, so you were studying chemistry.
Yeah.
Then.
Yeah, I was doing. Well, I was
started?
doing. Yeah, I was doing. First semester, I was doing quite a bit of chemistry units.
Yeah.
And like, fuck, smash it, 90, whatever.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about it on the stage. I was thinking, fuck, imagine if I did like fucking like chemistry jokes.
Well, that's the thing. You don't come like. I think the first time I saw you on stage, you were doing like a little observations about like sports bet and shit. You're like fucking talking about stuff like that, which would absolutely kill at like footy clubs and stuff like that. But you don't come off like you are studying like a fucking hard. Fucking science degree.
I was pretty fucking nerdy in like year 11. I was doing fucking physics, chem, high maths. Fuck, that was fucking.
So you're a little fucking just a nerd.
Yeah.
Now you're branching out to comedy.
I was a fucking virgin, man. I was fucking not getting laid. That's why I did comedy, to get laid.
How's that going?
Better than what I thought. No, I'm kidding. No. Anyway. No, just ask my exes. Nah. But yeah, so I was thinking in the shower, I was actually, imagine I just put out like, oh, fucking, your relationships just as unstable as carbon-14, bitch. Like a rap line or some shit.
Yeah, I think it would work like quite well because it's unexpected,
Yeah, maybe.
And then you could go into, I'm studying blah, blah, blah.
Oh, you fucking nerd. Like,
yeah, shit like that,
Yeah. Well, I did that once when I was worn a Murdoch uni jumper, and I was like, oh, everyone's like, oh, you fucking, I was like, oh, you fucking nerd wearing a Murdoch jumper, sort of thing. That jumper's comfy, but I'm not gonna lie, it's a good looking jumper.
It should be your thing. You should be the Murdoch comic.
But yeah, basically, well, it was a Chris Shin. When I first started, he kind of sat me down. He's like, oh, is this what you sort of want to pursue? You're gonna do more gigs, or is it just like a one-off sort of thing? And I was like, oh fuck, I'll keep going. I'll give it a go. I guess I'll give it a go.
Yeah.
So then I did. Did you ever? You're from Victoria, so you probably would have done the Scarborough gig. There was this really shit Scarborough gig, and it was like second time on stage, and basically people had your back to you. They didn't give a fuck about. Yeah. Because they weren't really. It was basically, you ever done those gigs where people don't know there's like a stand-up gig, and you just like, oh, we're gonna have a stand-up gig, and then like here's Willow Regan, and then it's like fucking 4 middle-aged blokes just talking amongst themselves. They just like a business meeting, like, what the fuck's this?
Yeah, can you keep it down?
19-year-old talking about. Yeah, we just haven't seen each other for 20 years. What the fuck?
Our friend died. This is a wake.
This is a funeral, buddy. Yeah. What do you do? An MC gig at a funeral.
It's very like.
Were you close to the victims? Everyone. Everyone here?
Speaking of victims, you actually want to get into forensics.
Yeah.
Is that what you want to do?
What a segue.
Yeah, it's what I do, man.
Yeah, I wanted, pretty into forensic files, like the doco.
Okay, so...
Have you seen it?
No, I haven't. Stay away from those ones, because I'm like, am I just training myself to get away now?
Get away with...
Yeah.
To be fair, they never did it. Well, sort of. But it's crazy how some people get picked up. But most of the time, to be fair, criminals aren't the smartest people.
Yeah, true. But some of them are...
But some are clever. You're right.
Some of them,
but most are dumb.
Yeah, for sure. It's petty crime, majority of it anyway.
Well, forensics is not. It's murder.
Well, yeah, so it's only fucking murder.
It's pretty much only murder.
Well, the crazy ones, like, I've heard, like... this guy decided to eat like a Zupa Duper when he was robbing a house, or like, he took a shit or something like that.
I've heard that.
Yeah,
take a dump. He's like, why don't you just hold it? Man? He just had to go. Had to go.
Yeah.
One dude was robbing people, and he grabbed a book because he saw a really good book.
Yeah.
From a bookshelf, and he just was like, oh fuck, I'll give it a read. So and obviously that left his fingerprints.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
So little things.
So that's how he got done, because he saw a great book and he wanted to read it.
Yeah. So all that type of little stuff of like when you see in films and stuff like that, are fingerprints as easy to pick up as we're led to believe? It's always like someone's dusting and there's a perfectly formed fingerprint.
No, I mean, there's so much ways though, really. Like there's so many ways. I think one of the worst ones is bites. They got a guy in the 80s for biting because he bit one of the victims they murdered, and And so it left an impression, and they were like going off his teeth, and he had like missing teeth and shit like that. Yeah. And like, that's how they got him. But like, turns out it wasn't him. It was just another fucking like crackhead looking bloke that had missing teeth. So that's how, which it's only like secondary evidence, like bite marks and all that sort of thing. So you can't really go main, but I don't know.
Really?
I guess it was the 80s. So they just, I guess it was like different shit back then. But so yeah, basically he got done. So he was like on death row for like 20 years or something like that. Yeah. And then he had to appeal.
And he's like, it wasn't me.
Yeah, the whole time. Imagine that though. Imagine being on, you know, you haven't done it, but you're on death row for like 20 years.
Yeah, and the thing is that, you know, they say like it wrongly accused and they bring you out, and then I think they do give you a settlement these days. But you had 20 years of your life is gone.
I don't think it does. I don't think they do it in the US though. I think the US you have to sign something saying to get out, so then you don't get it, or maybe you do. I don't know. I don't really know the US law sort of thing. Yeah. But like I've heard like, because like there's heaps of that sort of shit happens. Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah. How often that does actually happen. Yeah,
I could be walking past and there's another fat fucking dude with a beard. Yeah. And people have come up to me, and I'm pretty good with faces. I'm worse with names these days. I used to be a freak with
names.
it.
I'm pretty bad with names. I used to be good with names.
Yeah.
When I gave a shit.
I think that's just me.
I don't really care anymore.
But then I will meet people. If I meet someone, I know that I've met them. Yeah. And a lot of people have come up to me doing stand-up, and they're like, oh, we met at this gig. You know, you were doing this. And I'm like, I have never, ever done that gig.
Oh my God.
And I'm just another fat guy with a beard. And their face is dropped. So you're just like, it's okay. It's fine. But it's just like, are you sure? We're at the gig and like, and I'm like, I know.
I'm pretty sure I know.
I just moved over here. Yeah. I know that I haven't done a gig in Scarborough. You know, there's only a few places I've done gigs.
Man, there's plenty of fat comedians, can't we? What do you mean, bro?
Yeah, it's fucked. But
insult.
The forensic stuff is super interesting though. Like, do you guys like? I haven't been to university, but do they go through a lot of older cases and stuff? Like, this is how we found this person, or this is how they found that person?
I only did really, I've only done really like one unit.
So this is what you want to branch into now.
This is how you get, but this is what I'm doing biomed and then going into forensics afterwards sort of thing. So it's like, sort of thing.
So there's not a specific course you can do. Like, you have to do the other shit and then it leads to this?
There's probably smarter ways to do it. I'm doing this sort of thing so I can have options and shit. But
what would it's biomedicine, is it?
Yeah, biomedical science.
So what if you just had that on its own and not forensics?
I think you do have to do another.
Oh, really?
Sort of thing. Yeah. So it's all like a general sort of thing.
So what? Let's say forensic wasn't an option.
Well,
do you know what you would branch into?
I joked about this for a few mates. I was like, I'm just gonna make drugs for fucking China or something for the performance enhancing sort of thing. But yeah, you could go over to China and do look at different
COVID shit.
Yeah. Well, sort of COVID shit, but also just the next COVID sort of shit.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So like the
you're a full fucking nerd, man. You're a fucking. I'll have a picture up, but you just don't look the part of just a nerd thing.
Like fucking like scientist.
I like. I mean, you've got a white jumper on, which is kind of like a lab coat, but it's a Playboy fucking jumper.
I got one time. Yeah, no, it was my ex's. But like,
you stole her hoodie.
Yeah. Well, she gave it. Oh, I think no, she didn't. I just stole it. But anyway, but like, but I had this. My mum. She's a massive nerd.
Okay.
That's where I got it from. But, but she had this black fucking trench coat, lab coat, and it's fucking massive. Like, it goes to your ankles and shit. And I was like, I had like a white one as well. I was like, fuck, imagine we just came in with like a black trench coat, lab coat. Everyone's rocking like those white. Yeah. And I'll be rocking coming in with like a black suit. This guy fucking teaches classes.
Yeah, he's a trendsetter. He's fucking.
And then everyone was
the
like,
ducks.
And then my brother was like, fuck, you look like a trench coat Murphy fucking school shooter. You know, back in the, have you ever seen the doco Bowling with Columbine?
Yep. The school in Columbine, yep.
Yeah, and they and the whole thing is, have you seen the doco? The whole thing was
I saw it ages ago.
The whole thing about the doco, we're fucking jumping around here, but the whole thing about the doco was they went bowling. I can't remember what time. I think they went bowling at like 6 a.m. or some shit.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Hell early, which I've never heard of bowling at 6 a.m.
Yeah, bowling in general is not really a big thing in Australia.
To be fair, I do love a good bowl.
We went 2 weeks ago actually, and it was so
it is pretty fucking fun.
Yeah.
I don't know why bowling is not as big.
Yeah.
It's like cricket instead, or lawn bowls. But I love cricket as well.
Yeah.
I don't know, every time
you got to get some cricket gigs.
I know. Well, every time I tell like a young person, I don't know, maybe there's just less people now. I tell like a young bloke and he's like, oh, fuck, it's boring. I'm like, you just don't fucking get it, bro.
Yeah.
Like, fucking,
you
don't understand where you're out in the heat and 40 degrees and you're just waiting there for the ball to come to you for 6 hours. You just don't get it, man.
It is. I've never played cricket either. Like, it's one of the sports that I've really done like the least, to be honest. Only through like school with like we've got an annual game with our mates and shit. But like, it is so technically hard that it's fucked. Like it's
why?
And it's hot as fuck. I just can't. I played tennis. That was my thing.
It was pretty. Yeah. Well, you have to play in the heat because of fucking the pitch and shit.
And it goes forever.
It does.
But I do like it. I'll happily sit down.
Yeah, but all being said,
I
do enjoy it.
I will sit down and watch most forms of cricket.
Oh yeah. Well, I used to play as a kid and stuff. To be fair, I wasn't that good, but I brought it back up because I was like, "Fuck, I want to play again." So I started playing like a couple years ago.
The good thing is you got plenty of footy left in you too if you want to play that. It's just harder on the body, isn't it?
Well, I was thinking about Amos Gill once was talking about this on his gig because I think you know Amos.
I know. I've seen
Amos Gill. He's pretty fucking funny.
He is very funny. Yeah.
But he was a really good football player as well.
Oh really?
Yeah. Like I'm not sure if he like because he knows like oh fuck what's his name? He used to play for Adelaide. He's like Roy Atkins. Do you remember him? Well, he was like mates. I think they used to play football together. I think he might have been close to AFL. Maybe.
Oh, really?
Amos, I think so. I think he was pretty.
Just went down the comedy route.
Yeah, well, he was still playing footy, and then I think by 23, he was like, "Well, I'm not going to become an AFL player." So he sort of went all his time into comedy.
Yeah, and he's a smart fucking dude.
Yeah. So sort of thing. But yeah, he was talking about that sort of thing. How I'm at this age where I'm like, but to be fair, if I had more gigs, comedy? Sort of thing. Yeah, I probably would. Like, to be fair, I said if I have one more concussion for football, that's me done. Like, I can't be getting, especially I can't be forgetting jokes on stage and shit.
And more like your like what you're studying and stuff like that. You need all your fucking brain to fucking get to be able to pass.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah,
sort of thing. But I do love footy.
Yeah,
sort of thing.
I finished footy at around 20. I played like a tiny bit of reserves, and I was like, this isn't for me. I guess just fun. And it just got like, this just wasn't that as fun. I wasn't playing with my mates.
Yeah.
You know, under 18s, under 16s, under 14s, all that. You're with your friends.
Yeah.
But then you play reserves and shit. Half of them have quit. Half of them are playing seniors.
Yeah.
And there's a little part of you still playing with you. And you're like, nah, this isn't. I played footy for the camaraderie and not so much the game.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I'm a bit different. I do love the game.
Yeah.
I do love...
And I was horrible.
And you was horrible.
So that's the main... I just sat on the bench.
That's the main fucking thing out of all that dissecting.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind being a coach sort of thing.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. I wouldn't mind also doing that just because I don't mind doing that game. But also, I've met some really shit coaches and sort of thing. And I think what makes a great coach isn't really about strategy. It's more like just connecting with your players and sort of thing.
Yeah. I have met a few of those coaches, and the teams have always stumbled in the finals.
Yeah,
because they've got everyone plays for the coach, and they love them. But then when push comes to shove, they're like, we don't coach us in the right direction. And I've seen teams fail many times.
Obviously, the cunt's got to know what he's got. He can't be like,
yeah.
When I was at juniors, I had this guy. He was a rugby union guy.
Yeah.
And he came over and we were like teaching ourselves. We were like 12 and we're like, he's like, what's a left half flank and shit?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
where's the flank?
I'm like, I just pointed to the board like, that's that position, bro.
Yeah.
He's like, what does the center do? I was like, just gets heaps of the ball. Just gets 30 touches, man. Just he was useless.
It's probably someone's fucking dad.
I know. Yeah, you would hope so. Yeah. Unless he just stumbled and just started coaching kids.
Or he did something wrong and he had to do community
service. Oh, imagine that. I don't think you should be allowed to teach kids if you've done something wrong.
Yeah, I don't know if you can.
I hope
you probably could have.
I reckon back in the day, definitely. I don't think now.
Sure.
Hopefully not.
Sure.
I reckon 70s, if someone just did a crime, like fucking just coach.
You wouldn't know.
Coach the under 12s Makos, bro.
Give us 2 years, fucking give back to the community. Or it's like not a lot of people, but the smarter ones who are going to get into trouble will start to do volunteer type of work.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, I'm a good guy, I'm volunteering at fucking, might be a local, like a...
Well, Gillo's like, those people, like, they talk about, what are they call it?
God?
They talk to God.
Yeah.
No, I was talking about, character witnesses, all those people.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, he's actually a really good bloke. He's like killed like fucking 5 people. He's like, yeah, he's actually a really good bloke.
He's a good guy to meet.
Man, he's good to have a beer with. I know he's, killed fucking 5 hookers, but, we've all been there.
I worked at a company, and when I first started, the older fella who owned the company, he was just a tradie. He saw an opening in the market, and he decided to make his own company, and it went really, really well.
Yeah.
And he invested well, and he did this and blah, blah, blah. Made a great company. Fast forward like 25 years later, he's in his 70s. He's worth probably $50, $60 million type thing. Hardly works because, he's done all the hard yards. Then it's just like, oh, yeah. And then behind closed doors, you chat to people and be like, oh, he's a fucking dirty dog, this guy. Like, just... Yeah, he's cheated on his wife a million times and this, blah, blah, whatever.
We're not
like,
these
fair
guys.
enough.
Fair enough.
And then...
stock standard.
But what it came up was he was at like quite a nice fucking restaurant or bar or something like that. This guy's in his like mid-70s.
Yeah, yeah.
And he said to like this young chick who was like 19, he's like, how much? And she was like, what? And he was like, how much to come back to my hotel? And
How old is he? Like 70?
In his 70s, like mid-70s. Yeah, Viagra.
Gets the work
and
done.
she was like, what did you say? And he was like, how much to come back to my...
let me repeat myself.
Yeah.
You can't hear, bitch.
Let me speak right into your fucking recording phone.
I thought I was the only one that was 70 here.
And then, she decided to take him to court type thing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think they ended up... No, they definitely still went to court. She ended up getting like quite a more money than whatever she was going to pay to fucking root the dude. Got a decent settlement, but like fair enough.
Yeah.
But apparently he had like 10 or 20 character witnesses come in and be like,
he's a good bloke.
He's done this to the community. He's done that. And the judge apparently sat back the entire time. And then it got to the very end, and she was like, "Oh, blah blah blah. Do you want to say anything?" And he was like, "I'm so sorry. It's out of character for me." And he's like, "So we've had all these character witnesses. You've come up here and said it's out of character for you and all that shit, but not once have you actually apologized to this young lady." And he was just like, "Yeah, like that was the thing that
just hasn't let what he's done is wrong and shit."
Yeah, she like the judge apparently was just like, you've done all this to make yourself look good, and you've got what I assume is majority of your long-standing employees.
Yeah.
And stuff.
All his boys in his pocket.
Pretty much, yeah. All his buddies, his rich fucking socialite friends, and all this shit.
The people you really shouldn't be getting character witnesses from.
Yeah.
Also pieces of shit, bringing more pieces of shit into the room.
But yeah, the judge apparently just called him out on it, and he just fucking shrunk, just like, oh no.
Probably the first time he's felt that, really.
Yeah, probably. Like when you're that fucking, like it was so weird.
He'll be like dictator ego. He'll be like, fucking, look at all you cunts beneath me.
Pretty much. It must be so weird to be that rich. Like he just you'd be out of touch with everything.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine. Well, you couldn't be really. Oh, no, you couldn't.
When you got that much money, that like. 50 to 60 million
dollars. That's a bit of dollaries, isn't it?
That's a couple of dollary dues, man.
Well, yeah. I was watching. I reckon this NBA player was talking about how he spends his first $1 million, and it's like fucking 100,000 on clothes or some shit. Yeah. I was like, man, that guy's gonna go fucking broke. Yeah,
it's crazy. I watched a show like a rapper. I can't remember what his name was, but he was just talking about. He's like, this is how rappers become broke, and he's like. So what happens is you get $1 million.
Yeah.
And you're like, all right.
Obviously tax, yeah.
They've given me $1 million, and then half of it gets taxed straight away. Or it's 40%, I think, is taxed straight away. But you think you got $1 million. So you're a dumb kid. Yeah. So you're like, oh, you just signed for $1 million. And then they're out
that's still like $600K, but.
Yeah. But then your producer takes a certain cut. Yeah. And it's quite a big cut. So it's
then all these boys just start taking shit.
Yeah, and it's taken, and it's back into the label, it's back into this, it's back into that, all your fees and all this type of shit.
That kind of just needs a financial advisor, really. That's it.
But a lot of people don't, like, the industry's not set up to tell them this.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah, man, you got $1 million, and they think they've got $1 million.
Yeah.
Whereas they should sign for like 5. So, and that's how they're like, all of a sudden they're poor.
Yeah,
because they're like, they bought this house, they did all this, they overextended themselves.
All they make, and they start working, really.
Pretty much. And that would be hard too. Like, if you've got, if I got $5 million, I would
went from
stop.
5 mil and then going back to being broke. That'll be fucking depressing. They'll be like, fuck, man, I really blew it.
Well, that's another thing. I was listening of how professional athletes lose all their money gambling because they get so obsessed.
That's a really massive issue for the
huge.
AFL with horses. Horse racing, because they would get on the TAB, in like, I don't know, in between games and shit, and their fucking first time they've actually got fucking bank a lot. They're not like NBA players, sort of rich, but like,
but they're still putting $5.
Yeah, but if you're like 22 and you're like, I know, I used to play with this guy Oscar Allen, who plays for West Coast now. And
get some good goss on fucking Oscar Allen.
Not really. He just really worked hard and chased his dream. And here I'm doing this. But like, and became 6'6". That also helps.
That's how I was just 6'6" fucking.
That doesn't being athletic as well.
Yeah.
But I think I reported he just signed a new contract, and it's someone told me it's like it's just underneath $1 million a year.
Yeah,
he would be getting
signed for 4
years.
Like
he's only like 22, and he would be like probably on, I don't know, he might be on 850, 900k right now.
Yeah,
and you think about he probably went from he was at UWA, and then getting probably 80k would be his AFL.
Yep,
and now he's fucking gone 10 times that.
Yeah,
so that would be a crazy jump. And I guess guys just. And so, to be fair, I'm not gonna lie, some AFL players are dumb as well. So that probably plays a lot into it, how they end up getting broke.
Yeah, I think a lot of them are dumb, mate.
Yeah.
I think majority are I'd say 50% are dumb.
Yeah, I would agree with that too.
Yeah, and that's probably a fair indication. I've been around a lot of footy clubs, and it's like, how are you so good at football
and so fucking
retarded at the same fucking time? Like, how did you honestly get to the ground today?
There's this guy called Josh Bootsma. He used to play for Carlton.
Yeah, he got his dick out, didn't he?
Yeah, and he's like, and he was talking about, I know a guy because he plays for Kittanning, and he's talking about, and like this guy plays with him, he's literally like a weapon.
Yeah,
he's like saying how he's one of the best players I've ever seen because he literally just does he's so athletic and he does everything, but if you try to talk to me, he's literally like the dumbest fucking cunt ever, man. Like, he's got no idea. Cheats on his wife all the time. You know, the usual. Like, he's like a piece of shit, but like, he's a fucking gun footy player behind.
Yeah, I think that'd be quite common. Like, you look at, there's always players that come out and stuff like that, and there's, whatever people say that they're cheating on their wives and this and stuff, and you're just like,
sounds stock standard.
Yeah, it's just, but I mean, it happens outside of football. That's the issue that people just absolutely...
Anyone that gets like high profile, really. Because like, these guys never had probably women flocking to them.
Yeah, you look at Bailey Smith the other week, you got a picture with him.
Yeah, he's a stud.
But like
he gets women flocking to him.
Yeah, crazy amounts.
It's pretty unreal.
How do you not get into trouble being a young fella?
I think that's why you just got to be single.
Yeah.
During those years.
Yeah.
I think you just can't be in a relationship.
It's probably a smart move because we're fucking dumb as rocks, and the temptation's there to be a scumbag. And get rid of all temptations.
But he's also, to be fair, he's actually a really fucking charming guy.
Yeah. Did he have a yarn with you?
Oh, he just said I was handsome. That's all he said.
Really? What's he, like 20?
Yeah, man. It's actually, because I said that to my mate. He's like, oh, he's like 3 years younger. He's 20. He's like, and my mate's like, fuck, man, imagine doing that well this young. It's pretty crazy. He's like 20.
He's going to be a legitimate superstar.
He's 20. He's got that many girls coming after him. You would think, and he's actually like...
He'd be a cunt.
You would think, I was thinking, it's like, I bet this guy's a fucking cunt, eh? Like, fucking... But he's actually fucking hell charming and like nice and stuff. He always has time for people. Sort of thing.
Maybe he's one of the few people that realises that he's nothing without the actual fans.
Yeah, I think that's what he said. I think he said, I was listening to him on the podcast, and he was talking about how he tries to give every fan, because that's their 30 seconds of meeting you and stuff like that.
Yep.
And sort of thing. And if you ever get big in comedy, bro, I think you just gotta remember.
I will become
the biggest cunt.
The biggest piece of shit that you have ever fucking seen.
People, you I would fucking have beneath me.
2 to 3 massive security guards, and if people tried to hand me things,
I would even let them give me beer, man. I'd be like, I don't want to touch that shit you just touched, bro.
Yeah, gross.
You get gross cock.
Yeah, no, it'd be weird, but I could see how people become cunty.
I could see
because
your ego,
just because you're respectful towards someone, there is 10 times the amount of people that are cunts and that would push in and yell at you.
Yeah.
You fuckhead. You fucked up my multi, you scumbag.
I reckon,
and you're like, settle. I'm
just playing footy, man. That's on you, bro. You made my melty.
Yeah, we were down at place on the foreshore just down there, and it was the day after the grand final, and all the Doggies players walked in.
Yeah.
Every single one of them. Every single one. There was fucking 40 of them.
Right?
And they just
all the twos players as well.
Yeah, all of them. All their assistant coaches, because I saw Brent Prismal and all that.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit, everyone is here. And everyone stares at them.
Yeah, I know.
And some people
that'll be fucking weird. It's weird you're an AFL player in Australia because there's not a lot of celebrities.
No.
Let's be real. No. And an AFL player is basically the only celebrities we really have.
And they're not even from this state.
I know.
You know what I mean? People still recognise them. So, imagine being in Melbourne, or even worse,
Melbourne, the fishbowl, Melbourne.
If you were a football player in Adelaide, it would be horrible because they are bogany as fuck.
Yeah.
And they live and breathe football, and then they see a football and they're like, hey, what's going on? And you're like, hey, buddy.
I mean, Melbourne's there's so many teams that I figure just becomes... Yeah, probably just common thing.
That's why everyone wants to play for the fucking Storm in NRL.
Oh?
Because no one
knows.
No one knows fucking.
Yeah, that's
Storm
why everyone
players.
wants to play for Gold Coast Suns as well.
I think so. Brisbane.
Bullshit. No one wants to play for Gold Coast.
Well,
maybe Brisbane.
If they were good, they would get good. I don't know. Gold Coast surely must be a nice spot, but if they were a decent team, they would.
Gold Coast sounds fucking a beautiful spot.
Yeah.
Well, Carmichael Hunt used to say the boys just be on the coke all the time.
Yeah.
have you heard that? He's like, I think he was talking about an interview or something like that, how he's like, the first couple years at Gold Coast, the boys were just fucking on it all the time. It's like, no wonder why they went to fucking shit.
All young.
Young you think about it.
Cashed up.
18 fucking year olds. And they would be on big money because they had to take away from Melbourne and shit.
Yeah, for sure. Every fucking...
They'll be all massive money.
Yeah,
all in the schoolies fucking...
Yeah.
Them rocking up at schoolies and shit. I could imagine big time.
Yeah. Or Jared Brennan.
Yeah. Is that what he did? Rocked up at schoolies?
No. I was just thinking of dopey.
I think Robertson did that as well. I don't know. He might have rocked up at schoolies too. It's I'm just thinking about all the boys.
Yeah, it's classic. To be honest, I think we've kind of covered most things in small patches and jumped back through.
I know.
We've done our
what else
close to 50 minutes, mate.
Fuck, that was quick. That was a fun time.
It goes fucking fast, man. I'll get you back on someday. Thank you so much for taking the long trek. You still going to go to uni now?
Yeah.
To do your lab.
And what's the time? I got a 3-hour lab now.
12:58 p.m.
Oh yeah, better get going. Actually, fucking hell.
Yeah.
Holy shit, yeah, better get going.
Thank you so much for coming down, mate.
Yeah, easy.
Good luck with uni, and I'm sure I'll see some more gigs soon.
Easy, thank you. Thank you for me. This is Tait Talks.
Yeah, it's fucking Tait Talks.
Are you
going to do your podcast?
Yeah, I was about to say, man, you better plug my shit in, bro.
Yeah.
You better plug
Perth Vibes.
Perth Vibes podcast. And I want to do, I've been trying to write this sketch for, probably to be fair, I've been trying to write it for 2 years, but I just haven't really had the time.
Yeah.
It's about, I'll say what it's about, even though it gives sort of away the joke, but it's about this Uber driver who plays his own podcasts while he's while he takes people on trips. He's just playing his podcast and shit.
Really informative. I like this guy. Have you heard the podcast?
Yeah. That's what basically the whole thing. Yeah. And he starts making his own podcast where he's taking Uber people as well. Starts interviewing people.
Yeah, it's cool.
Just annoying, but just random political questions that no one gives a fuck about.
Yeah. Well, get on it, mate, because there's no time like the present. But I mean, with uni and fucking.
I want to ride in the summer. That's how I'll get it done.
Yeah.
Get it done in the summer.
Just set yourself a goal.
Yeah.
Micro little goals.
Summers, and then I'll be having Fringe as well, so that'll be crowing. And Fucking crazy. Oh, I forgot to ask you. Do you want to be one of the acts in my Fringe show?
It'd be classic if I had said no. Just puts you on the fucking spot when it's being recorded.
Fuck no, bro. I don't want to be part of that shit. Fucking loser.
Depending when it is, I think there's a few ones that people have asked me to do.
For Feb.
Yeah, that should be totally fine. Should be totally fine. Thank you. Anyway, thank you so much for coming down. Easy. This has been episode 33 of Tait Talks Podcast.
Easy.
It's obviously you can't still listening to it, but it is up on YouTube as well. Spread the love. Did you want to plug your Instagram or anything? It's up to you. I'll give $2.
Maybe get a few likes for my Baby Smith photo.
Yeah.
It's Forrest_Gump98.
And that is it. Ladies and gents, thank you so much. Good fucking bye.
See ya.